Like and subscribe now, or you're gonna have bad luck this week.
Gordon Ramsay is one of the most well-known chefs in the world. But why is he so famous? Even though his food tastes amazing, the thing he is most famous for on the internet is his savage behavior. We know that every time he loses it, we are all in for a hell of a show. We are all familiar with his rants, but there have been moments when he was actually nice. Let's have a look at them. Number 10. Twitter storm. For a very long time, people have been posting pictures to Gordon Ramsay, pictures of their culinary efforts. This unusual practice must be a result of those stupid challenges the kids are into nowadays. Or, people just like to be stomped on and cussed out. We don't know why they like to do this. It might be some kind of joke for them. Well, let's admit it, we like reading the replies as we take inspiration for the words to use in our everyday life. Anyway, the majority of people have never cooked a meal before sending Gordon Ramsay these pictures, and he feels no shame in expressing what he thinks about their culinary efforts. Needless to say, most of his Twitter followers will never become chefs. But then, one day, a woman sent him a picture of her fiancé's cooking efforts, and she was no doubt proud of what he had accomplished. And it seemed to be a very sweet gesture, because Gordon actually complimented the dish and told her to actually marry him. Well, this doesn't usually happen, and you can tell that by seeing the overwhelming response of the fiancé when the girl showed him the good news. Twitter exploded with the news, and people retweeted the compliment, making it viral. Number 9. A touching moment. In Season 3 of Gordon Ramsay's MasterChef, a blind chef named Christian Ha appeared as a contestant in the show, and predictably, Gordon made her cry. But unpredictably, she cried out of joy instead of pain or humiliation. Christine said that she uses all her other senses while cooking and has a very careful and precise knife technique to keep her from cutting herself. Her hard work and determination made her a brilliant chef, and everything was going really smoothly and well in the competition until disaster struck. Ramsay tested all the contestants by asking them to bake an apple pie, which was a simple task, but Christine was not an experienced pie maker and was quite flustered. When she walked up to the judges' podium, Gordon remarked about her flustered look and asked Christine what she thought her pie looked like. Christine replied humbly that she thought it looked rubbish, but to everyone's surprise, Gordon described it as a poetic accuracy and told the chef to stop doubting herself. He told her to be bold and helped her polish her other senses by lightly scraping the top of the pie, asking her what she hears. What followed was a motivational speech that had everyone on the show in tears. He tasted the pie and exclaimed that the pie was amazing, leaving Christine stunned as the whole set rose and in the sound of applause. Number 8. Fatherly advice. If you wish to see Gordon Ramsay's softer side, you have to watch MasterChef Junior. He is a father himself and is generally tough on the kids, but much less on what he is with the adults. Now, if you think that MasterChef Junior is a show about a bunch of kids making some mac and cheese or peanut butter sandwiches, you are sadly mistaken. These kids are very bright and are culinary geniuses, and you shouldn't underestimate their skills, but they are still kids. We see Gordon Ramsay's softer side when in one episode, the kids are tasked with a baking challenge and one 12-year-old's batter goes extremely wrong. The girl started sobbing. She probably used to watch the regular version of a MasterChef with her parents and was very nervous as to what would happen now. Gordon rushes off the podium to confront her and starts to correct her mistakes with a very gentle voice. Gone are the shouting and the insults, and he is seen talking in a comforting fatherly tone as he helps the girl through the stressful round. Number 7. Homesick. Nothing matches the look on Gordon's face when he met a fellow Scot on the set of his show. A brave Scottish woman decided to audition with haggis, a Scottish dish that seems as appealing as a root canal. Gordon looked as excited as a kid on Christmas morning when she revealed that she too was from Glasgow, and the look of pride on his face when he tasted the meal was very evident. Well, the other judges didn't look too much impressed, and one of the judges even commented that Scottish food looked like it was created from a dare, which was kind of rude, but also funny at the same time. Then it was time to decide whether her food was good enough to make her enter the show. The first judge couldn't say no any faster, but the second judge was kinder and said yes. Then it was Ramsay's turn, and he tried to stress the woman firstly by making her think he was going to say no. But then he said yes. It all made sense, as he, after tasting her food, said that it made him homesick. With tears in his eyes, his fellow judges were surprised that Gordon was actually human and had some human emotions too. Number 6. Scolded in Malaysia. All the masters are humble students because to keep being the best, you need to learn from the best. Learning has no limits, and we would never stop learning as long as we are in this world. A few years ago, Gordon Ramsay proved that he still has a lot to learn. While filming in Malaysia, he asked Aunt Annie, who had her own restaurant, to show him how to make rendang, a classic dish. While most chefs would treat him as a very high-profile chef, Aunt Annie showed him who the real boss was. She told him in no uncertain terms what to do and even pushed him around a bit. Gordon took it all gracefully and as a result was able to boast about a near-perfect rendang. Ramsay's head totally exploded when feisty Aunt Annie told him that she relies mostly on feeling than exact measurements while cooking. It's such a satisfying moment to see him struggle to contain all the Ramsay, because believe me, Aunt Annie would have out-Gordon Ramsay'd Gordon Ramsay. Number 5. Chocolate Ramsay Sundae. To say that Ramsay has a soft spot for children in his heart is a bit of an understatement. While the poor adult contestants most likely get PTSD from appearing on his show, most of the kids leave with happy memories that they'd cherish their whole lives, as they get a guiding hand and a whole lot of fun. He's not afraid to show his softer side at all and prove that he's a good sport about pretty much everything. This is evidenced when he allowed the kids on the MasterChef Junior to turn him into a giant ice cream sundae. The little monsters were encouraged to turn him into a delicious sweet treat. They stormed Ramsay with every kind of ice cream and topping that you can think of. He endured the torment in silence, and we are very proud of all the self-restraint he showed by putting up with all the mess that these kids created. Number 4. Embarrassing dad. Do you know what all dads with teenagers have in common? They are embarrassing. Your dad could be Mick Jagger, Bear Grylls, or any icon of coolness. But if they have a teenager, they are downright embarrassing, and Gordon Ramsay is no change. One day he decided to attend his daughter Tilly's parent-teacher conference, as he wanted to be more involved in his daughter's education. But Gordon Ramsay kind of forgot that he is Gordon Ramsay. Most adults don't like being told in graphic detail why they are an utter moron, but off Ramsay went. With all the optimism in the world, it didn't end up well though. We aren't told what transpired in the hallowed halls of Tilly's private school, but it wasn't at all nice. Apparently Gordon Ramsay, who spends more time cussing than breathing, caused a stir. Ramsay was apparently so bad that the school had to write a letter to his wife the next day, asking her to come unaccompanied next time. Number 3. Crying over the bacon. Who doesn't like bacon? But you couldn't look at those cute little piggies and have thoughts about eating them, right? But Gordon Ramsay decided to show the world what happens at the abattoir, so he raised 2 pigs at his home and took them to an abattoir. He then made his cameraman record the entire thing and aired it as he wanted the world to see what happened to the animals that provided their meat. The reason he did this was that he wanted those deaths to mean something. He looked visibly shaken up and was all in tears by their deaths, contrary to what you'd expect out of him. Number 2. Helps a struggling cook. Ramsay recently went on Reddit and invited fans to ask him anything. There were all kinds of questions, and among them was a struggling chef who vented out his feelings about how difficult it was for him to start out as a chef. The heartfelt message ended up with a question: how did you deal with it? And it's that moment where you desperately want to give this guy a tight hug and maybe a chain of restaurants named after him. And then Ramsay responds, and while you'd be expecting an indifferent response, he's there to surprise you. He wrote him a long message of encouragement and even offers him a job and tells him to never give up. Number 1. He's a pushover for his kids. The last thing you might think Ramsay is a softie and a pushover, but it turns out that he is, just for his kids. Don't think of him being a pushover in any other aspect of life though. In a recent interview, his wife revealed that he is an absolute teddy bear for his kids and even allows them to trample all over him. And it is sort of cute. It is good to see that for the whole world he might be a witty abuser, but his family sees a whole different side of him. Who would have thought of Ramsay as a cute, cuddly teddy bear? What do you think about Gordon Ramsay? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.